Oh, let's have some wet, rainy fun, shall we? Good morning, everybody. Paul Ihander with you once again. Max Goren is here, too, on this Friday, or as Victoria Bodenecker would say, and will say later on today, Fry-yay. I don't know. I can't say that there are some competent engineers out there building roads in the Triangle, but it rained and the water didn't drain from some of the freshest pavement. I'll just put that out there. You guys could figure that out, shall we? Starting with the weather. This show, next up, starts with the weather every once in a while because we're all in it together. And a lot of my commute is down Lewisburg Road and down Capitol Highway. And they're building this brand new sweet part of Lewisburg Road. They got some fresh pavement and whatnot. And you're coming down the hill to Mitchell Mill, and what happens? Well, all the water pooled there. And nobody thought to themselves, you know what? Maybe we should put a drain here where all the water is pooling, where we only have two lanes coming together. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully you're all having a good morning. For those of you who decided to take it easy today, not go super fast on the roads, on your super bald tires, in the middle of a drought where we haven't had rain, so there's all that muck and oil and whatnot on the roads. But we should be talking about sports, right? We should be talking about sports, and really, it's really going to be all about tomorrow. But we will look back here in a hot second. Just a reminder, though, tomorrow we'll have full parade coverage for you here on 99.9 The Fan. Pre-parade broadcast starts at 9 o'clock. We'll be replaying Brandon Bussey's Canes Corner from earlier this year, and then at 10 o'clock, Adam Gold, Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox will be live from Hillsborough Street with kind of an hour pre-party warm-up, talking to fans, hanging out, having some drinky drinks. And then at 11 o'clock, the real party begins as they start rolling down Hillsborough Street, down Fayetteville Street, and then big TVs and stuff. And I caught a little bit of a glimpse of kind of what the plan is for the party and how things are supposed to go. But I'm going to ask Max, because Max has a little bit more inside information than I do, before I start spilling the beans, because I know some stuff. Max. As a matter of fact, I got hit up last night. Hey, do you got any secrets about the parade? Got any secrets? Tell me where I should park. And I said, probably about 5 miles away from the parade route if you don't want to get stuck in traffic leaving.
Yeah, I would just start walking now, honestly.
No, nothing to share. Nothing new.
I know very little about
my goodness.
what is happening. I just know I got to be there at like 9:30 tomorrow.
9:30. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how early I'll have to leave to make that happen. Yeah, I'm still kind of strategically planning my entry and exit strategy. But I know I will be there, and I know where we're handing out stuff. I don't know what stuff. But I know there was an emphasis on the instruction to us that we are handing and not throwing. So maybe it's heavy. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. You know how wide Hillsborough is, right? You know how wide? I mean, they're not going to, close up the lane super tight. You're going to have to – I'm assuming they would just assign you a side as opposed to, hey, start down the middle, and then when you start seeing kids or whatever it is or super Caniac fans, then you go over to them. And then they'll probably make you run right back to the middle. So hopefully you have comfortable shoes and you get some sleep tonight. And if you can't make the parade, where they're now expecting the crowd estimates, by the way, keep going up. They're now pegging it at 150,000 because of the weather, and apparently there are a lot more people coming into the Capitol than previously thought. If you can't make it, we will have coverage, or you're stuck in traffic or whatever it is. We'll have coverage on 99.9 The Fan. Brought to you by Parkway Sleep Health Centers and Carry Sound Sleep Sound Health. You can listen to us, of course, in your vehicles. You can also listen to us on your smart speakers. You can also listen to us on your smart devices. We have an app. We have had thousands of downloads in the past couple of weeks here. You can get it through the Apple Store for your iPhone or Google Play Store for your Android. It will be a look back for a lot of folks and trying to celebrate the moment tomorrow. Today, I just want to give you a chance to take that deep breath. Take that deep breath, because the last week has been a whirlwind, and a lot of it has been to the fault of the Carolina Hurricanes and their players. They have been all over the place, having the best time of their lives, smoking stogies outside, having fantastic meals. There's a chicken picture of the chicken in the top of the Stanley Cup. Apparently, head coach Rod Brindamore threw a private parade in his neighborhood celebrating with fans that has filled up a lot of the pictures and whatnot that's been posted. And everyone's posting old pictures of the Cup, too, so it's getting a little confusing. There's some throwbacks and whatnot. So just remember kind of what time and era that you are in. It is not the early 2000s. We are now in the year 2026. And as you look back at the Stanley Cup final, because a lot of us really didn't digest it in real time. It was about moving on to the next game. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, Game 6. It was about just kind of compartmentalizing each game as it occurred. And then the team won the Cup. We all went crazy. We partied downtown. We partied with friends at home. We were at watch parties. We were here with you early Monday morning, which seems so long ago. But now I want you to look back just a little bit and think about kind of the moments as we write the story of this team, especially this season, write the storybook. And the reason why it came up, the NHL last night not only emailed me but texted me to remind me that they dropped their final episode of the Stanley Cup Quest for the Cup Series. And they had 4 of them, and the 4th one focused solely on the Stanley Cup final between the eventual champion Carolina Hurricanes and Vegas Golden Knights. And it was this 30-minute roll, which I absolutely digested when it happened, this 30-minute roll through the 6-game series that obviously ended in Las Vegas. There was a heavy emphasis towards the end of Brandon Bussie taking the net. There was a heavy emphasis at the beginning about all the hallmark things that happened, the stuff that history books will remember because they were brand new to the history books. And so I'll ask you just to take a moment today and take a moment with us right now. If you want to call in, that's fine too. I mean, I'll take a call or two if you feel like it, if you remember the number. 919-860-5326. About those moments or that moment that you remember during the Stanley Cup final that you're finally able to look back on and either kind of give it a real wow or kind of give it a, yeah, that happened. That moment happened. And I think for me, Paul Ihander here, Max Goren as well, for me, it was a turning point moment. And I know there's a couple of obvious ones, but for me, it's the Game 2 moment where Logan Stankoven took it upon himself to score a goal when they were down 2-0. And that turned into a 3-goal barrage by the Carolina Hurricanes, which eventually ended up in an overtime win for Carolina in Game 2, which was incredibly important at the time when you think about where the Canes were struggling and how they were just trying to find any sort of spark or any sort of answer. And that came in the 3rd period. Like, again, this feels so long ago. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, actually. Where he kind of went around the net, kind of pulled a Michigan Svechnikov hybrid kind of thing, and dropped that one in.
A little bit more than 2 weeks from yesterday, but I
okay,
digress.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Basically 2 weeks, but I mean, if you remember what it was like watching that game, like it did kind of feel like the Hurricanes may never score. Like they were just kind of having their Vegas's will imposed upon them. They were really struggling to generate any kind of chances. And at that point, Vegas was already up 1-0 in the series after a back-and-forth Game 1 where Vegas came back from the multi-goal deficit early, won it late in the 3rd period with a Mark Stone goal. Then in this game, Vegas has full control through, what would that be, like 5/6 of the game. There's like 10 minutes left in the 3rd period, and Carolina had still not yet scored. And then Stankoven got that rally going. I personally, out of that game, the Mark Jankowski goal that followed to tie it up was my favorite because it was just very aesthetically pleasing. The high flip pass.
It was.
William Carrier made a really strong play to straddle the blue line, stay on side, and then pass it over as he was falling down before Jankowski sniped it bar down. And nobody deserved a goal more than Mark Jankowski after he'd already had 2 marked off earlier in the playoffs, including an overtime winner. So it felt good for him to have that happen to continue the rally. And then obviously Stahl got the goal to go ahead, but then Vegas tied it up in the last minute and a half. And we all know what happened after that with Seth Jarvis scoring the overtime winner to even the series 1-1. I think about the best moments from the Stanley Cup final, and Obviously you could go to the third period rally in Game 3 in Vegas
again,
where
yeah.
I had left the building, so I actually was not watching as it was unfolding, which is unfortunate. But I think about like the very start with Nikolai Ehlers, and how many times did they do this postseason too, where he came out there, used his speed, which is a hallmark of his game and a big reason why he was brought into the Carolina Hurricanes, just as a new addition and a big free agent acquisition, to have that immediate impact on the biggest stage of the Stanley Cup Final, score 35 seconds into the first game, and then to add another goal a few minutes later to go up 2-0. Of course, they had, like I mentioned, they end up losing that game. But in the moment, like, just the electricity and I can't always speak for myself, but, for a moment it felt like, maybe they'll just run away with this thing in the Stanley Cup Final, and it'll be another series where they win in 4 or 5 games. Obviously, that did not end up being the case. But just like the ultimate vindication for one of the biggest pickups of the offseason, for him to score, make that immediate impact, have the 2 early goals. And somebody mentioned to me on X yesterday. I posted, I'm trying to compile kind of like a chronicle of the whole season, like telling the story of the Hurricane season. And
Sure.
One of the replies was Ehlers had the bookend goals of the Stanley Cup Final. He scored the first goal, and then in Game 6 on the empty net, he scored the last goal. And I think that speaks to how strong his impact was all playoffs long. He ended up finishing a point per game in the postseason after posting a career-high 70-point season, or 70 or 71. I think it was 70 in the regular season. Just what a fantastic addition he was. People said for years what a good fit he would be, but he was underutilized in Winnipeg, finally becomes a free agent. And then Eric Tulsky, one of his master strokes, bringing in a really talented winger, a really talented player, and in year 1 of a 6-year deal, he goes out and wins the Stanley Cup, the Carolina Hurricanes.
That's Max. I'm Paul. Next up here on 99.9 The Fan. Just digesting a little bit more, right? It was game by game by game, a whirlwind of a Sunday night. We have now reached the end of the week, right? It has been 5 full days since the Carolina Hurricanes returned the Cup to North Carolina after a 20-year absence, and now it is here. And to look back at that Stanley Cup Final and those moments and those grindy kind of grimy things, the Game 3 was historic, certainly for both teams, and we see the move for Brandon Busty to come in. And again, it's easy to pick out highlight moments, right? Those moments that stick out. It's you pick out that one in Game 2 with Jankowski's goal, and if it wasn't, Carrier's effort in that one was so good that it took a Jordan Staal dive on the ice to put a goal in Game 4 to really go, wow, these guys are trying to lift and move forward as much as possible and live out that dream with nearly superhuman effort.
Yeah, realistically, that moment, the Jordan Staal goal in the third period of Game 4 as he's falling to the ice, I mean, that is the moment from these Stanley Cup Finals.
It's the lithograph moment,
right?
In
a close game, a tied game. Carolina had already blown another multi-goal lead, which had happened for one of the teams in each of the first 4 games at least. For them to get that goal, to go up 1 in the third period, and in a crucial moment too, because if you lose that game, you come back, you're down 3-1. Only one team has ever come back from down 3-1 to win the Stanley Cup Final. I think the record is 1 in 38 for teams that go down 3-1. So at the absolute most crucial moment, the captain steps up, scores his second goal of the game. Incredible body control to stay with the play as he was moving in the other direction, away from the net and away from the pass that was coming to him. And it's just such an iconic moment. And the picture of him, for me, that's the lasting image, is him laying down on the ice, with his hands raised up as he's celebrating the goal. For me, there's a lot of great moments. We discussed a few already, but that is the moment that will kind of live on in history for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, it could be the cover of any sort of book or any sort of chronicle of this season. And you can't do it without the fans with the tarps off and the big gathering spots and the reasons to get together. And it's not just the reasons to get together for the watch parties, but I think it's the want to have it, right? The want to be there, because it's just as simple to stay home. Like, we had some ridiculously hot evenings when the Stanley Cup final was being played here at home and even on the road. And people still came out by the thousands wherever they were, whether it was at one of the big watch parties around the Triangle or whether it was at the local watering hole or whatever it was, like gathering people in the backyard with a projector. Like, it was the want to be together for this team that truly, as you look back on it, like, you don't have a lot of moments, honestly, in your life where communities come together, where fan bases truly come together under one big, giant storm surge, right? I guess that's the best way to put it. The Caniac storm surge, in where you wanted to be a part of the moments, no matter how long it took, no matter where you had to go to do it. Like, for example, it was near impossible to find Storm Brew here in the Triangle. Like, I think we went on hunts for it. I went looking for it. Even on Game 6, ahead of Game 6, I went looking for it for a bunch of places. Couldn't find it. I was like, I'm looking for things. I'm like, I'm like, the things that come along with being a fan that were truly embraced and were just, absorbed by this fan base. I think that's, and tomorrow's going to be like the ultimate, just kind of, let's just let it all out one last time kind of thing. And you're going to look back on those moments and you're going to go, I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I saw this team play. And I'm glad I stayed up that extra hour to watch that game, even though they lost. I'm glad I was part of that. I'm glad I can remember those things, because that's the stuff that will stick with you. You'll be able to talk about this for years and years and years, but now's the time to, appreciate what you just witnessed, because it's really, you get really wrapped up in these kind of scenarios, in these situations, especially when it comes to championships, because they are rare. You talk to somebody who was around in 2006, they'll tell you exactly what happened and where they were. Like, we took those phone calls on Monday. They will have the same conversation the next time the team wins the Cup, and hopefully the drought isn't another 20 years. But there will be conversations 20 years from now about, I remember 2026. I remember that run with that team and the empty net goals that finally landed for Ehlers, and Brandon Bussey making saves on his butt, and Jordan Stahl sprawling out and not just turning back the clock, but willing his team to win at all costs. Those are the moments you will remember, for sure.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. UNC Baseball is seeking its first national championship as the Tar Heels face off with the Oklahoma Sooners in the College World Series Finals this weekend. Catch every game of the best-of-3 series right here on 99.9 The Fan. First pitch of Game 1 is scheduled for Saturday night at 8 o'clock. The Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup celebration will roll through downtown Raleigh starting tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. 99.9 The Fan will be live on the scene from Taverna Agora on Hillsborough Street. Tap into the 99.9 The Fan app or 999thefan.com for all the information on the Canes Cup celebration. The U.S. Open continues from Shinnecock Hills Golf Club in Tuckahoe, New York today. 2023 U.S. Open champion Wyndham Clark was the leader after the first round, firing a 6-under par 64. Catch updates all tournament long here on 99.9 The Fan, teed up by McConnell Golf. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
The NHL draft is 7 days away. Carolina Hurricanes have pick number, doesn't matter. They have like 3 picks in this draft, just based on all the trades that they made and deferrals and whatnot. But when you don't need dudes, you don't need to fill up the farm system, so to speak. But they do have a number 1 pick, and it'll be someone probably who has umlauts in their name, most likely. Paul Ihander with you. Max is here as well. That fan coverage you mentioned, the parade tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock through downtown Raleigh, right along the majority of the Christmas parade route. We'll be right here on 99.9 The Fan. Plus, not just the parade, but the speeches at the podium. That's the more important thing, right? Because I don't know what the parade's going to look like. It could be every player on a horse. It could be every player on a sleigh. They could be on bicycles. No one seems to know. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but it'll be a good time for the 150,000 people that'll show up and try to park in the 5 parking decks that are available, which I believe there's room for about 100 cars in those parking decks, and then everyone will be on their own.
I believe all the the state-owned surface lots downtown are going to be free and open as well. So all of those, I think most of them it's like north of the route, north of Hillsborough Street, kind of north and east. But there are a bunch of surface lots up there as well. You can look online. There's like maps of all the ones that are going to be open. So hopefully there is still enough to accommodate. I think they're encouraging people to carpool if possible.
Clown car, baby.
Take buses or trains or whatever public transport as well, so we can accommodate it. If it truly is going to be 150,000, which I don't know. I feel like maybe they're getting a little carried away with the crowd projections. I understand we love our Carolina Hurricanes here, but I'm curious how many people are really going to be packing it into downtown Raleigh tomorrow. It's definitely going to be more than the last celebration in 2006, which was 30,000 people at the arena. Definitely going to be more than that, but who knows? It sounds like we're going to have a population of a small / mid-sized city just in the city for this parade, or at least that's what they're making it seem like.
Yeah, people will be parking near that skate park out there north of P Street. They'll be parking on the skate park. People be abandoning their cars like Snowmageddon.
Better yet, just take the skateboard from your house to the parade.
Right, just skateboard down. And there's plenty of places to lock up bikes and things like that. There's lots of trees. City of Oaks, right? Columbus with more pine. It'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. We're all going to have a good time. Tomorrow's going to be great. We're all going to be patient with each other. We're all going to be only slightly lubricated during the parade and be cool. Like, just be cool because everyone's here to do the same thing. There'll be a lost fan or two. There will be. Someone show up in a Avs jersey or a Oilers jersey or whatever it is. Well, this is all I had in the closet. So, it's all right. And when you're downtown, by the way, because there's a lot of Raleigh's built on the backs of small business. Like, lots of local entrepreneurs. A lot of folks downtown, like, they're going to have to fight their way into their store or whatever it is because they don't normally open at 10. They're going to have to be there at 6. And just understanding that they're at 6, 7 o'clock or whatever it is, when you're down there, spend a little money down there. Like, get to know downtown again. Get to know that area again. Lots of great spots down there. And again, if you're already walking 1.5 miles to park your car, trust me, a few extra blocks to go find something you've never seen before, you'll be okay. You'll just be okay. Plus, the exodus, like people trying to get out of there, it's not going to be fast. It will be like the end of a Canes game at Lenovo. It will take forever. So just be aware of that. We'll keep you company, though. I promise. We will keep you company. The cup window for the Carolina Hurricanes is open. With the win Sunday night in Las Vegas, 20 years of history has now been erased, and the new clock has now started on the Carolina Hurricanes. And you look at how the Canes are built, and in just 2 years with Eric Tulsky at the helm, they have a cup. And as I mentioned, the draft is coming up, and the draft choices are different. Like, it's different as a Carolina Hurricanes fan when you look at the NHL draft, and different as a Calgary Flames fan in the NHL draft. Calgary Flames, I believe, and it was brought up to me yesterday, they have like 8 picks in the first 80. So the 8 of the top 80 players, most likely, will be going to Calgary. That should be a heck of a team in the next 2 to 3 years if all those hit. Even if 2/3 of them hit. That should be an incredibly young, talented team, much like the Montreal team that the Canes went up against in the Eastern Conference Finals, which they were ahead of their time too. But this team, in terms of the window, might not be as wide open as you want it to be without some shrewd moves. There are a number of players now. We were fortunate in the 2025-26 season to have players that were still not on expiring contracts. You have a couple of minor ones going on right now. As a matter of fact, Mike Riley, who was the extra defenseman, but a puck mover at the same time, has been listed as one of the top 10 guys for value hitting the free agent market here in 2026 come July 1. Mike Riley's one of those guys. Looking at this team moving forward, there will have to be needs addressed quickly or extensions extended quickly if this window is going to open up a little bit wider. Right now, in terms of the current makeup of this team, the window only lasts for one more year. It's only one. But the core guys, the core of this unit, it looks like you have 4 years. Like 2030 will be the end of kind of the sweet spot for the Carolina Hurricanes when it comes to contracts and when it comes to talent. Because you will see the guys that are young on this team that have made immediate impact, and you just go right down the line with Seth Jarvis, Logan Stankoven, and Jackson Blake, ages 24, ages 23, and age 22. By 2030, they will be in what is considered NHL statistical prime, to where they will either plateau at that point and start a slide, or they will maintain for a number of years after that, but unfortunately would not be under contract without extension for the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm not talking about goaltending because I think we have proven in the NHL that we have gone to more of a tandem system than a solo system for the most part. And so goalies and the way the Carolina Hurricanes seem to find them, whether it's free agency, whether it's waiver wire, or whether they try to draft, has seemed to work for them. So that's where I'm pegging the window right now, is that there's 4 more years of this. The 5-year window opened up this year without any significant moves. The window is open through 2030 to where your young players have hit that point and the veteran players will have either run out the clock on their, again, statistical performance, or will have begun kind of that downturn. But economically, this team is set up incredibly to improve and even extend that cup window based on the cap space they have this year and the extended cap space that they will have in those extra years that I was just talking about through the year 2030. That's where I'm at with where this cup window is. You want to say you're in cup contention forever, right? Forever and ever and ever if you're a Stanley Cup winning team. You're in cup contention next year because you're the defending champions. You will always be the Stanley Cup champions until they drop puck at the end of September at home when they raise the banner, and then you just add the word defending before it. You go, now you're the defending Stanley Cup champions. Right now you're the Stanley Cup champions. You become defending at that point. So your cup window is at least one more year. We'll see what Eric Tulska can do, and then there's the other wild card. How long does Rod Brind'Amour want to coach this team? He may wake up in a couple of years and go, I got what I came for. And I've been with this franchise for so long that it's time for me to hand over the reins. That might be the bigger factor in the window than the players themselves.
Probably just as important as some of the players on this roster is Rod Brind'Amour behind the bench, and who knows who they would potentially bring in if they had to find a new coach.
John Tortorella.
Well, he has to come back and get his clothes still.
Yep.
I think they probably would still bring in somebody that's good and fits the roster and the culture well. But again, I don't think this is a immediately pressing issue by any means. I think Rod Brind'Amour definitely has a few years left. I think he is at least going to get through next year and see Jordan Staal off to the likely retirement. You can only assume that he'll retire after his contract expires after next season. But who knows? He could probably stick around a couple years after that. He's known to love this group of players, not just Jordan Staal, but you could see in the immediate aftermath of winning the Cup, the connection he has with Sebastian Aho, who I can only assume is going to be the next captain after Jordan Staal hangs up the skates and fast tracks his way to having his number up in the rafters of Lenovo Center. But I am curious if maybe they get an early start on some extensions for Jalen Chatfield or Shane Gostisbehere this summer as well. They're heading into the final year of their respective contracts. I wouldn't be shocked to see one or both get an extension. Shane Gostisbehere is going to be 34 when his contract expires after next season, so maybe a 1 or 2 year type deal for him if they want to keep him around to run that top power play unit. And then Jalen Chatfield, I cannot see leaving after that end of that contract. He's just the perfect pairing there with Jacob Slavin. But maybe he'll want to hit the market and see what kind of financial benefits there could be in that. See if he can get a pay raise. He's been largely underpaid, I think, in his NHL career and his Canes tenure, making just a hair over $3 million a year. And he just hit age 30, so he's definitely got some good years left in the NHL. But I wouldn't be shocked to see an extension come for one of those two a year early, and then obviously they have to get cracking on some sort of Nikishin contract extension. I anticipate probably something in the 2 to 3 year, $5 or $6 million range. That would be my guess. I don't know if they go long term at this point. I don't know if Nikishin's camp necessarily would want that at this point. So maybe a 2 or 3 year bridge deal for him that gets him to unrestricted free agency could be the path they go with that as well. But a lot of the key pieces sticking around for at least at least one more year, and for many of them already locked up for long term. When you're talking about, as you mentioned, young guys like Seth Jarvis, Stankoven, Jackson Blake. Aho's still locked up for a while. Nikolai Ehlers just signed a 6-year deal in free agency last year. Andrei Svechnikov signed for 3 more seasons. So at least, through 2029-ish, 2030, this team isn't going to look terribly different, at least in terms of the middle top 6 and top 4 defensemen. And if you keep that group around, hard to imagine you won't be very successful.
We'll see what happens. Free agency opening up soon. We need buyout season, draft in a week. Yeah, lots of NHL business. Heck, Tampa and Buffalo made a trade this morning.
Tampa and Toronto.
Toronto made a trade this morning. Yep.
Yeah, the Darren Radish. What a that's kind of a big time move for them. That's going to be Toronto's new number 1 defenseman.
They'll take what they can get right now. Any help to keep Austin Matthews around? That's got to be one of the things he probably said in the meeting with John Chaika. He said, could use a little bit of help and quit thinking about trading Matthew Nyes.